Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another tier list. Today, it's the top 32 running backs. This F tier, don't even worry about it. I got like 20 of the guys that don't matter on this tier list in there. We're starting on the E tier, all right? So, I'm going to kind of quickly go through these two tiers, the C and the E tier. They don't matter too much. I just realized this is supposed to be C. This is supposed to be D. Sorry about the mistake, guys. All right, DeAndre Swift, quickly. Rashad Penny's going to be the lead down back. Love Rashad Penny. You see Zeke here. This is actually supposed to be Rashad Penny. They didn't have a picture of him. I am higher on Penny than Swift because in the Eagles' backfield, Jalen Hurts does not tend to dink and dunk the ball to his running backs. He's a rushing quarterback. They usually do not do that. He does not do that. Look at Miles Sanders' production last year. Neither of them will catch many passes, and for sure, Penny's the better runner than Swift, so I have him a tier higher. Kamara's going to likely be suspended, so that's why I have him this low. Pacheco and McKinnon have clear, defined roles that in PPR, McKinnon's a machine. He had 9 touchdowns last year through the air. He's better towards the end of the year. They try to kind of save him. Pacheco will be, in standard leagues, your best option because he's just a grinder, a runner. He has no third down work, no pass catching work. McKinnon is used completely in the red zone for any pass catching downs, and they have a lot of those. So that's kind of the split there. Then Samaje Perine is going to be used a ton early in the season when Javante's coming back from that ACL and MCL injury. But when Javante's back, usually running backs their first year back are not that great off the ACL injury, so we'll have to monitor that. That's why I kept them both fairly far down. I think Samaje will be great for when Javante's not there, but Javante is already practicing, so I think they're just going to cannibalize each other. Cam Akers in the next tier, Miles Sanders, all these guys in this next tier, including the Rashad Penny, actually, maybe not including Rashad Penny. The other 5 are just bell cows in their offense. Miles Sanders got paid the most out of any other running back that got traded or picked up in free agency this offseason. Cam Akers has no other competition in the backfield. Montgomery has Gibbs, but we saw with Jamal Williams that role kind of gets last year. A lot of touchdown opportunities, great O-line. And then James Conner, Rashad White, both terrible teams, terrible offenses, but will get potentially 20 plus touches a game. Like James Conner at the end of last year was really damn good. He wasn't so great at the start, but really good last year. They don't have Kyler Murray, so looks like they'll be tanking. I don't see why they wouldn't just run the ball 20, 25 times a game with him. And then Rashad White, obviously, pretty similar situation there with Baker. Now, the next tier, let me order this. It kind of got out of order. I think it's something like this is what I'm going for. Yeah, this is the order. So, Damien Pierce, basically an upgraded version of James Conner, Rashad White. Crappy offense, but he is definitely the best running back out of this tier. Not this tier, the below tier. That's why I have him in C. Houston's not going to be great. Not a good offense. Not a lot of touchdown opportunity. He only had 4 touchdowns last year. Not crazy efficient either because that offensive line wasn't that great. But this year, a full year of him basically getting all the touches. I'm not quite sure how much Singletary affects him. Maybe a little bit on third down. Not too much near the red zone because Pierce is the much better pure rusher and tougher to bring down guy. So I don't love Pierce this year, but I respect him and I'll put him in the C tier. Where he's going, don't love him though. J.K. Dobbins, same thing, don't love him. He's in a good offense and he'll get less work than a guy like Damien Pierce, but I can still see him getting like 16 carries, 2 receptions a game, maybe not even 2 receptions, maybe like 1.5. He's a very efficient runner. This offense does seem like they're going to want to pass the ball more, but the Ravens offense always good for running backs in terms of being a pure rusher, so he'll be okay. Dalvin Cook, I would put higher if we knew what his situation was. People keep saying he's going to get cut by the Vikings and go to the Dolphins. We have no idea, so I'm going to keep him in C for now. But if he stays in the Vikings, he's in B tier easily. Jahmyr Gibbs, if you're in full PPR, you got to love him. He's going to take over the DeAndre Swift role, but hopefully actually stay healthy in Detroit and not have the team hate him. So they picked him 12th overall, and they said they were comfortable taking him top 6. So clearly they love him, and they're going to try to get him some workhorse touches. Maybe not quite workhorse, but 18 nice touches, some red zone with a lot of reception work, and like 10 to 12 carries a game. Then we got Kenneth Walker, who took a big hit because of Zach Charbonnet joining the team. They also got Jackson Smith-Njigba. So this offense overall is going to be really good, but there's like 5 skill position players that are all going to try to fight for points. So Kenneth Walker definitely takes a big step down. He was going in like the late 2nd, early 3rd before the draft. Now he's going in the 5th. Pretty much where he belongs. Travis Etienne, same thing. They draft Tanks Bigsby, who they took in the third round and is much more of a bulldozer type of back, where Etienne's not really as much as that. I think he'll still be fine. He's not the best pass catcher. I know that's like the stigma. Everyone thinks he's like a good pass catcher. Not really. He's one of those guys that in college got receptions because of the system they were in. He's not like an elite route runner. He's more of a dump off, check down guy, which is fine. But we saw last year, I believe he only had just over late 30s to mid 40s in receptions. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but not a crazy reception artist. He was very efficient on the ground, though, over 5 yards per carry. Now, the next tier is going to be, it's a fun one. This tier is going in the 4th to 3rd round. Let me try to order it for you guys. This tier list is so wonky with actually ordering these players. Okay, yeah, this is the order. So I'll start with Najee Harris. I hated him last year. You guys know if you follow my TikTok or my YouTube shorts, like I made so many videos with him and DeAndre Swift just explaining how there was absolutely no chance they could be a top 5 finish at the running back position. Way too inefficient, way too bad of a team, bad offensive line. You can't, and he lost Big Ben. We saw him go from 71 receptions to in the 40s. That is huge, right? So he's going to get like work volume, but with Jaylen Warren kind of being the better pass catcher, I'm a little worried. The only reason he's still in this B tier is because the offensive line got a little bit better. So I think he'll still find his way into the end zone a couple times. He'll still catch like 3-ish passes per game. Not the volume he was seeing with Big Ben, though. So he's strictly a volume play. I like him if he falls late 4th, early 5th. Joe Mixon has been sliding way up draft boards recently because it looks like he's not getting suspended. So if Joe Mixon plays, I have him in this B tier. He's fine. He's kind of similar to Najee, but in a much better offense. Not efficient. A pass catcher last year, much more than years before, mainly due to the fact that, actually, it's funny enough, they had Samaje Perine last year. Now he's gone, so Joe Mixon could actually approach like 70 receptions if they just want to keep him in on third downs, which he's able to do. He's an okay pass catcher. Aaron Jones, great pass catcher, great, super efficient runner. With Jordan Love stepping at QB, love his chances of just dominating the rock. He's much better than A.J. Dillon. I'm a Packers fan. He is so much better than A.J. Dillon. Hopefully the offense understands that. Matt LaFleur understands that. They keep him in. Breece Hall can move all the way up to, honestly, A tier if he's fully healthy by the week 1 starting point of the season. It looks like they're saying he's optimistic for week 1. I'm not so sure about that. Running backs off ACLs do tend to lose some explosiveness that first year, so that's why I have Pollard and Ramondre still over him. But he's a fine pick in the late 3rd, early 4th. Then Tony Pollard and Ramondre going in the early 3rd, late 2nd. I like both of them. Tony Pollard, I'm a little bit worried that somebody's going to come in and steal some of the early down work, like Fournette, or maybe they sign Zeke for a cheap deal, because he is fairly light. He's very efficient, good pass catcher, but not like a grinder, so they may spread out the touches a little bit. But Ramondre was like the 3rd best receiving back last year. If you look at all the metrics, it was like Eckler, CMC, and then him. So he's going to get the volume. I mean, in a Bill Belichick offense, usually there's not a workhorse, but last year, clearly, Damien Pierce kept getting banged up, and they kept giving him all the work. So I don't think any of these other Patriots backs are really going to take much work because they all kind of suck low-key. So the next tier is the A tier. I love drafting in this tier. So starting with Bijan, he's getting drafted too high. On Underdog Drafts, he's the RB2. I don't see that. I have him projected for about 260 full-point PPR points. For example, I have CMC about a full 100 points higher. I have like Derrick Henry, I think, is at 279 for me. Nick Chubb's like 264 or something like that. So he's right in that range where I think he's going way too high in drafts because he's so young and people are thinking he's this generational prospect, which he kind of is, but he's no Saquon. People are saying he's like the best thing since Saquon. Like, Breece Hall was a better prospect. So he's going to be good. He's going to be a workhorse in a not so good offense, but a good O-line. He'll be okay in the passing game. Wasn't amazing in college. Only had, I think, peaked at 20 receptions in a season. But we'll see. Josh Jacobs, obviously, last year was the RB1. He crushed it. He was RB1 or RB3. I can't remember. But he was top 3 RB. I don't think he'll be quite as efficient this year, especially since Jimmy G looks to be injured. If he's not able to play, I mean, that offense would be bad. But I still think he's going to get like a ton of work, but he got a lot of reception work last year. Last year was the first time I think he cracked 50 receptions, so good for him. Derrick Henry also in this tier. Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry, just pure rushers. No receiving upside to either of them, but at least Nick Chubb has potential for a good offense. That's why I have him higher. He's potential for like a 2,000-yard, 20-touchdown season. I know that sounds crazy, but it really isn't. He lost Kareem Hunt. If Deshaun Watson's any type of his old self, I mean, that offense could go nuclear. Derrick Henry is strictly a volume play. Like, this team is going to just rely on him to do anything. Like, Will Levis and the receivers, garbage. So that's why Derrick Henry's here. He's strictly a volume play. JT you could even put behind Nick Chubb. I wouldn't hate it. He's going about a full round higher than him in drafts right now. I actually prefer the Browns offense. The more I think about it, I'm going to move it. I'm going to switch it. They're basically in the same role, but Nick Chubb's in a better offense, and he's a better player. So I'm switching it. Saquon, though, does have receiving upside, unlike basically anyone of the last 3 running backs we talked about. Last year, that wasn't fully on the table just because that offense was so grinding on the run game. For the first half of the year, it was just all run, and then at the end of the year, it kind of fell apart. This year, with Darren Waller coming in, Danny Dimes finally got paid. Saquon, if he just signs the contract, he's going to be an elite running back in the A tier. And then, of course, the final 2 running backs are Eckler and CMC. Eckler, just dominant pass catcher. I don't think that's really going to change too much. They do have a new offensive coordinator. But he's just a pass-catching demon. He's a bailout option for Justin Herbert. And he gets a lot of red zone work. They don't care that he's small. They give him all the red zone work. He had almost 20 touchdowns 2 seasons in a row, so we love Eckler. And then, of course, CMC, by far the highest projection I have for him. He's 40 points higher than Eckler. I mean, this offense, he has potential for 17, 18 touchdowns, potential for 80-plus receptions. I think I have him projected at 82.5 receptions, and then potential for 16 to 1,800 total yards. So, this man could go absolutely crazy. He's obviously the RB1. So this is the full top 32 running backs in the NFL for fantasy football. If you're forgetting, Zeke Elliott is Rashad Penny. Make sure you make a mental note of that. And thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you supporting these long format videos. Like, subscribe, comment what you want to hear next. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.